Take down now, children. Third, you all have written?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Fourth, Indian National Movement 1. Fifth, Indian National Movement 2. Sixth, Indian National Movement 3.
Okay, ma'am.
Because all these national movements are connected to one another, so we will do it one after the other.
Yes, ma'am.
Sixth I gave you, na? Six I gave you, na?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. 6.
Okay. 7, United Nations.
Yes, ma'am.
8, specialized agencies of UN.
Yes, ma'am. Done.
Yes, ma'am. Done.
Ma'am, can you repeat?
Somebody can repeat?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
From
ma'am.
starting.
Hmm.
Ma'am, first is the revolt of 1857. Second is the judiciary. Third is the rise of Indian nationalism. Fourth, the Indian National Movement 1. Fifth, the Indian National Movement 2.
Hmm.
Sixth, the Indian National Movement 3. Then the United Nations specialized agencies of the UN.
Okay. So 8, you gave all 8?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. This is the tentative plan. Okay, children. It might
Years after the Battle of Plassey in 1757, the smoldering embers of the resentment and anger against the unjust, exploitative, and oppressive British government exploded into flames and shook the very
Right.
foundations of British rule in India. British historians called it the Sepoy Mutiny. Indian historians refer to it as the Great Revolt of 1857 or the
Yes.
First War of Indian Independence.
Indian independence. So this particular revolt, that is the revolt of 1857, is regarded as the first revolt, okay, for the freedom struggle. And the immediate cause was about the soldiers mutiny. So here I'll just explain you before we start reading what exactly had happened in this. Okay, so as you all know, there were soldiers who were, first of all, they were forced to enter the British army, Indian soldiers, okay, which irrespective to their choice. Secondly, all the soldiers who were there in this particular revolt, they were asked to use rifles, cartridges, all right, which were made of, there were two things. One, it was while making the cartridge, there was one minute.
Ma'am, made of pig and cows.
Yes, 1 minute. It was made of pig and cow. Now, cow is sacred to
Hindu.
cow is sacred to the
Ma'am,
Hindus.
Hindus.
And 1 minute. Am I audible, children?
Yes, ma'am. You are audible, but somebody is speaking in the between, so I'm not able to
Yeah,
understand.
it is.
It is Vivaan.
Whose mic is being unmuted? Please mute yourself, children. Okay. So now I was saying that there were two things. There was cow and pig. Now cow is sacred to the Hindus and pig is regarded as something as which is forbidden for the Muslims. And now these cartridges, when the soldiers were using these cartridges, they had to remove the rifles with their mouth, okay, which the soldiers denied, and therefore the soldiers started revolting against it. But the British army was very firm. So this was the basic cause. The soldiers revolted against the Britishers. This was the beginning through which the freedom struggle started. Now, before I begin the chapter, I would like to show you a video based upon this revolt so that it becomes easier for you all to understand what exactly I'm talking about. Okay?
Yes,
I'll share the screen with you all, children. Just let me know once it is visible to you all, okay?
Yes.
The Sepoy Mutiny. I'll share the sound. 1 minute. Please turn on your videos, everyone. Before I begin, I want each and every student to turn on your videos. Aditya, turn on your video fast.
Ma'am, I'm making the PDF. That's why I've kept my video.
Okay, Param, Dhruv, come on, turn on your videos, children. So let's understand.
During the British Raj, there was unrest and discontent amongst the people of India. The Hindu soldiers protested against the addition of Gurkha, Sikh, and lower caste soldiers to their ranks. The use of animal.
All right. So the traditional story of the Sipai Mutiny is that the introduction of a new cartridge for the Enfield rifle provoked much of the trouble. Is it true or false?
Ma'am, true.
No.
Everyone, is it true?
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am.
All right.
Grease on the cartridges of the newly introduced Enfield rifles was the last straw. While loading the rifles, soldiers had to bite off the end of the cartridges. It was made up of either pig or cow fat, which violated the religious sentiments of the Muslim and Hindu soldiers. In 1857, 3 regiments of the army refused to use the ammunition of the Enfield rifles and demanded that Bahadur Shah Zafar take over as the ruler of India and the head of the rebels. Mangal Pandey is one of the most famous figures of this uprising who attacked the British regiment. He was later arrested and hanged. This uprising came to be known as the Sepoy Mutiny or the Revolt of 1857. Soon after, another regiment revolted. 90,000 men from the Bengal army joined the mutiny. After suffering major losses in Kanpur and Lucknow, the British sought the help of the loyal Sikh and Gurkha forces and managed to ward off the army of rebels near Delhi. In response to the mutiny, the British Parliament passed an act abolishing the East India Company. India became a crown colony to be governed by the British Parliament directly. In the following year, the title of Viceroy was bestowed upon the Governor-General of India by Queen Victoria. She introduced a policy of divide and rule, which prevented Indians from uniting to rebel against her.
Okay, so I'll just stop here for 2 minutes. All right, there's the quiz. First, we'll solve this and then I'll explain you what we just saw. 1856. 3 regimes refused to use the cartridge. Is it true?
False.
Why is it a
And
false?
because in 1857, 3 regiments refused to use the cartridges.
Yeah. What is the difference over here?
1857. Year.
Okay, it is the difference of the year. Got it?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Next. Now, which policy did the Queen introduce?
Divide and
Rule.
Yes, this was the policy which the Queen introduced, and this was the policy which actually worked, okay, for the Britishers to lead. Okay. Now, before I continue with the video, I'll just pause for 2 minutes. Now, we just saw about, I think it's all completely done. Okay, we just saw about the different. Am I audible, children? 1 minute.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, we just saw about the different causes. One was that Mangal Pandey was arrested because they had revolted against the Britishers. Now, as soon as Mangal Pandey got arrested, the Britishers, the people, the Indians who were supporting Mangal Pandey, they got agitated, and that was also one of the cause. One of the major cause was about the mutiny among the soldiers, where the sepoys were not satisfied. All right, and the third one was the Queen had introduced divide and rule. What do you mean by divide and rule? I just want to ask you what exactly.
And that divide the religious means religious sector of our country and then rule over them so as to prevent them from uniting.
Right, dividing them on the basis of their religion. Okay, that means creating misunderstandings between Hindus and Muslims so that they divide among themselves. See, if we are united, no, it becomes difficult for any other party, third party to interfere in our matters or break our strength. But if we are only divided, then it becomes very easier for the third party to take the opportunity and rule us. That's what the Britishers did, right? This is the strategy which works even today. Do you all agree?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, for example, you are one class, right? You are just one class and you are working together, right? If at all there's a division in your class, then what will happen?
Ma'am, we all
Ma'am.
get scattered.
Yes, yes. Okay. So this is what it is. And now I would, if there's who is sharing the PDF?
Ma'am,
Yes.
I've created it. Can you enable the chat so that I can share it?
Chat? No, I want you to share the screen.
Oh, just share the screen. Okay, ma'am.
Okay. This is a very interesting chapter, children. You will really enjoy.
Ma'am, I wish the
Ma'am, I
video would
read
be
this.
little long. It was so interesting to see.
Video, na?
Yes, ma'am.
You like the video?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good. But the main aim behind showing you all this video was you understood what the video exactly told or not?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, are you able to see?
It is visible. Can someone read?
Ma'am,
can
may
I?
I?
Yeah.
Ma'am, may I?
Causes of the revolt. Now, first the political cause. We have different causes. We have political cause, we have economic cause, we have social cause. Political cause, you will include the Britishers. Okay. Social cause was the soldiers, and economic cause also we will see. Okay. Who will read?
Ma'am, can I?
Ma'am, may I?
Prayers?
Yes, Shreyas.
Yes, ma'am. Causes of revolt, political cause. The aggressive expansionist policy of Lord Dalhousie caused widespread resentment among the Indian rulers and their subjects. Dalhousie unjustly annexed several Indian states to fulfill his objective of extinction of all native states. Dalhousie annexed the state of Satara, Nagpur, and Jhansi by applying the doctrine of lapse. The annexation.
Yes. Now we had studied about doctrine of lapse in the previous chapter.
Yes, ma'am.
And I remember you all got this question even in your exams.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
this was the strategy which the Britishers used to take away the territories from the Indians, and this was the one through which without having any war they started getting so many territories. What was
Peacefully, ma'am.
involved in this particular doctrine of lapse? Who will tell?
Ma'am, may I?
Yeah.
Ma'am, in doctrine of lapse, if the ruler did not have a natural male heir, he could not adopt a son, and if he dies, the territory was annexed by doctrine of lapse, in which the territory would directly go in the hands of Britishers, and they would rule.
Right. So this was one of the policy through which Britishers would take away the territories if at all the ruler did not had his his son. Then first of all he was not allowed to adopt, and secondly he was through this particular policy automatically that territory would go on to in the hands of the Britishers.
British.
It was the easiest way of expanding their territories without war.
Yes,
Second
ma'am.
thing, this was the political cause. Okay, one political cause. Second,
Okay.
Nana Sahib.
Ma'am, may I continue?
We studied this also about Nana Sahib in
Yes,
the previous chapter.
Yes, ma'am.
The
Ma'am, he was the son of Peshwa Bajirao.
Yes, very good.
Ma'am, should I continue?
Hmm.
The annexation transformed the courageous Rani of Jhansi into a staunch enemy of the British.
Right.
Then second, Nana
Why did
Sahib.
Rani of Jhansi revolt?
Ma'am, may I? Ma'am,
Under-
because she was the queen of Jhansi and it was annexed by doctrine of lapse. That's why she revolted.
What was annexed? What is it?
Ma'am,
It
the
means-
state of Jhansi.
name, acha. Jhansi. Okay, Jhansi. It means
ma'am,
over here
there-
Jhansi.
There was one more reason, like as the British wanted to annex the territory, they by for purpose they killed the son of Jhansi Rani, so that they will not have a male heir. So this was one of the major cause due to which Rani of Jhansi and
Adopted a son.
Yes,
Rani of
yes.
Jhansi went against the British.
And
Right,
now
right.
adopted a
She
son,
did
ma'am.
not want to, she did never wanted to give away Jhansi like that, so easily into the hands of the Britishers.
Yes,
She did
ma'am,
not
like the
wanted the,
others.
so you remember her famous dialogue?
Who
Ma'am,
bloody Mardani? वो तो no.
Nahi, Jhansi, related to Jhansi,
no, ma'am.
Ma'am, it was in where it was.
Ma'am, in
her
the
famous,
film,
Well,
anyway, Jhansi, she
ma'am,
is
wait.
not going to give away Jhansi. Jhansi belonged to her, right? She is not
No,
going to
ma'am,
give.
I don't know.
Yes, ma'am. There was one dialogue, but
ma'am,
Yes.
I cannot remember.
Yes. Okay. Now next is Nana
Nana.
Sahib. Why did Nana Sahib revolt? What do you think?
Ma'am, may
ma'am,
I?
Ma'am, Nana Sahib was the adopted son of Peshwa Bajirao II, who was a pensioner of the British, but the pension was denied after Peshwa Bajirao II died, and hence Nana Sahib became one of the main leaders of the revolt.
Right.
Ma'am,
Got it?
Ma'am, but why did the British didn't pension him off?
What?
Because Nana Sahib was Peshwa Bajirao II's adopted son.
Adopted son, not the real son.
Yes.
Okay. Now, please underline that. So I hope you all understood the second political reason.
Yes, ma'am.
yes, ma'am.
Now
Ma'am.
let's go on to the third political reason.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
am continuously getting calls.
Third
May I
point.
read?
Bahadur Shah
Huh.
Zafar. Ma'am,
Read. Shreyas, read. No problem.
Yes, ma'am. Bahadur Shah Zafar, the Mughal emperor, lived in Delhi as a pensioner of the British. Dalhousie announced that Bahadur Shah Zafar's successor will not be allowed to stay on his historic Red Fort. He would have to move to a place near Qutub Minar on the outskirts of Delhi. This
Underline this. 1 minute. One minute. Underline. A place near place Qutub Minar. That is outskirts of Delhi. Or not that. Outskirts of Delhi. Okay. Yes. Continue.
Yes, ma'am. This was a great blow to the dignity of the Mughal emperor and deeply hurt the sentiments of the Muslims.
Yes. So now this is the third political cause of the revolt of 1857. This is we are first going to see the causes. Okay, as I told you. Now Bahadur Shah Zafar, as you know, he was a pensioner and Britishers used to give him pension. Now later on, what did they do? They forced him to move from the historic place, that is the Red Fort. Where is Red Fort?
Ma'am,
Delhi.
Delhi.
In the center of the Delhi.
yes,
Heart
ma'am.
of Delhi.
Okay, I was thinking at least you all know that much. Okay, I thought
Yes, ma'am.
I mean,
you all-
all Delhi.
okay. So from the Red Fort, where did he wanted him to shift?
Ma'am,
To the outskirts of Delhi near the Qutub Minar.
Okay, so that was something which Muslims or the people who was his supporters did not like. So this is, this slowly and gradually people started getting disappointed with the Britishers because they were trying to impose their rules on the Indian rulers.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Annexation of Awadh. We did this also in the previous.
yes, ma'am.
Yes,
On
ma'am.
the basis of what?
Maladministration.
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 Let me see how many of you all remember how Awadh was annexed on the
Ma'am,
basis
yeah.
of.
Ma'am,
Yeah.
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 Ma'am, ma'am, the Nawab of Awadh had signed the subsidiary alliance. So he was not interested in the legal matters because the Britishers only saw all the matters.
No, I am not talking about subsidiary alliance. I am talking about on the basis of maladministration means what?
Ma'am, maladministration means the administration of the state was not working properly. So the Dalhousie collapsed in Awadh and paid, ma'am, and said the Nawab to pay the charges of misgovernment in Awadh.
Do you think there was actual misgovernment?
No,
Or it
ma'am.
No, ma'am,
was?
what?
No, ma'am.
He imposed the charges of misgovernment
Imposed.
on the
Ah,
examiner.
Imposed.
so
And
Ma'am, by stating
correct
false
yourself over
statements.
here. In reality, there was no
Misgovernment.
administration or maladministration or misgovernment, but this was just the strategy which the Britishers used, on the basis of which through they could annex their territories. Okay,
Where?
so which do you know which were the places which was annexed? Name of the places which were annexed on the basis of maladministration?
ma'am, only Awadh.
Only our.
Awadh.
And which states were given on the basis of subsidiary alliance?
Ma'am,
Satara.
ma'am,
Subsidiary alliance.
ma'am,
The
subsidiary-
Marathas.
Hmm?
ma'am, Marathas, Holkars, ma'am, Holkars,
Hmm?
Holkar, Scindias, Gaikwad.
and
See,
Bhonsle.
this is, if you will notice, this is all the continuation of the previous chapter,
Yes, ma'am.
right? What we did in the previous chapter, it is all the continuation of the same. Okay, the British showed. Sorry, read. Can
Ma'am,
you please maximize it?
ma'am, should I read the fourth point, the annexation of
Thank you,
Awadh?
thank you so much. Yeah, at least this is visible.
Ma'am,
Yes.
should I read the fourth point
No,
of?
Awadh is done. They
Okay,
are
ma'am.
you all understood now, Awadh, children?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Awadh.
Okay, next.
The British showed scant respect for the treaties that had been signed with the Indians. Treaties were broken whenever it suited them to do so. This created a sense of fear and insecurity
Underline.
among the
Underline.
rulers of subordinate states. The
Yes.
axe could fall on them anywhere at any
At
time.
any time. Okay.
Ma'am, this is an idiom, no?
Uh-huh.
The axe could. Ma'am, this is
Yeah,
an idiom,
but
no?
very apt in this situation. Don't you think it is apt in this?
Ma'am,
Yes,
particular
ma'am.
situation? Yes. So the fifth point is the British showed scant respect for the treaties that had been signed by the Indians. All right, and treaties were broken whenever it suited them to do so. So, but this breaking of treaties were this given to whom? Only to the
Britishers.
Britishers. That right was given only to the Britishers. Did Indians had that right to break the
No,
treaties?
ma'am.
No, ma'am.
What,
No,
No,
what
ma'am.
was the punishment if they break the treaties with that also?
Territories would be annexed.
They would not be protected.
You remember we did this in the previous chapter.
Yes.
So
Yes,
1
ma'am.
minute before I go on to the economic cause, let us just revise all the, how many pointers are there for
Five.
political?
Ma'am, there are 5
Ma'am,
points.
five
Yes.
points,
So
ma'am.
one by one, I want you all to explain me all the 5 political causes. What are the 5 political causes?
Ma'am, can I explain the
Ma'am,
first?
can
Like 1 point?
Second.
Yes.
Ma'am, 1 point was like the British show scant respect for the treaties. Like if it was like if a territory is being annexed or is in harm, like and the British sees like they like the British will lose. So at whenever they want, they can broke the treaty, but it was not in the hands of the Indian rulers, due to which
You
it.
started from the last point.
Yes, ma'am.
I was thinking where you are. Give me proper now so that others are also not
Okay.
confused.
Okay, ma'am. So I will start from the first point.
Yeah.
Ma'am,
Ma'am.
the main cause was the doctrine of lapse, in which the subordinate the subordinate states when the king died without a natural male heir will automatically be left.
No. See, you already know what is doctrine of lapse. Now you are just explaining the political cause. So be, restrict your answer. Don't give extra information. If they're asking you, if you at all you get a question, what were the political causes of revolt of 1857? So you have to tell, because of doctrine of lapse, what was happening? All the territories would go directly to the Britishers. So who are the people who are not happy, disappointed because
Ma'am,
of
yeah.
Rani of Jhansi?
Jhansi
Rani of
Lakshmibai.
Jhansi.
Okay, that
Nana
was
Sahib.
1 point. Okay, that was
Okay,
1
ma'am.
point. Second point was Nana Sahib was disappointed. Why he
Yes.
was disappointed?
Because he was not receiving the pension that was received by his father due to the reason.
After his
Right. Third point was the Muslims and the other communities, the supporters of Bahadur Shah Zafar was disappointed. Why?
Because Dalhousie had announced
British
that the
forced them to leave the
Leave the Red Fort and stay in outskirts
Okay.
of Delhi.
Okay.
Near
Now, fourth disappointment was the
My
people of
advice is-
Awadh, the Nawab of Awadh was disappointed. Why?
Ma'am,
and because
Because Awadh was annexed on the basis of maladministration and was the Nawab was exiled to Kolkata.
Yes. Now, fifth point was the Indians in general were disappointed. Why?
Ma'am, because the Britishers broke the treaty, they had scant respect for the treaties. If they signed the treaty, only they could break the treaty, not the Indians.
So in short, if you want to turn it into your own words, what you can say that the Britishers had the right to break the treaties whenever they wish, right? So that's the reason the Indians were disappointed. So 5 people, we have the 5 disappointments.
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
These 5 disappointments are related to the
Revolt of-
political cause.
yes, ma'am.
Remember like this, it will become easier for you all to, who's unmuted? There's some disturbance. Okay. Remember in this way, so it will become easier for you all to remember, children. Okay. First, there was a disappointment with Rani of Jhansi. Second, disappointment with Nana Sahib. Third, disappointment among the supporters and followers of Bahadur Shah Zafar. And then give the reason why they were disappointed. Okay. Then fourth, the people and the Nawab of Awadh. And fifth, the Indians in general. Right?
Yes, ma'am.
And then give the reason. So these are all the political causes. Now let us have a look at the economic causes.
Ma'am, may I read?
Read.
Yes,
Now,
ma'am.
what is the time?
Ma'am,
4 minutes left.
4 minutes are there, ma'am.
Okay, let's begin.
yes, ma'am. Economic causes. The policy of economic exploitation by the British and the complete destruction of the traditional economic structure caused widespread resentment among all sections of the society.
Okay. So 1 minute. Economic exploitation by the British and the complete destruction of the traditional economic structure. It was caused by whom? In all the sections of the society. So Britishers not only targeted one section, they targeted all the sections of the Indian society. For example, first is land revenue system. Underline that. No, you don't have to underline so much. What is the point of importance if you're underlining the whole paragraph? Okay. Land revenue system. Now, we had land revenue system before the Indians
Yes,
had.
ma'am.
What was that earlier, the previous land revenue system?
And that the officials would collect the revenue of the land.
Who are the officials called? What were the officials called as? Zamindars, moneylenders, right? Yes. These were the people who would collect the revenues. Okay. So
landlords.
Yes, landlords is different. I'll explain you what it exactly it is. But then I'll stop here for today. How many economic causes do we have?
Ma'am, we have 1, 2, 3,
5.
5.
Ma'am, 5 economic causes.
Yes, and we have 5 political causes. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So I'll stop here for today. But today I want you all to revise all the political causes.
Yes.
Okay.